Leadership isn't always about going with the flow. Sometimes true leadership is about voicing an unpopular opinion. It's about backing up that opinion with data, engaging in meaningful conversations, conducting thorough testing, and executing your plan, all while maintaining a positive attitude, Googleyness, to achieve your desired outcome. In Google's Googleyness and Leadership interview, it's common to be asked about a time you voiced an unpopular opinion or took an unpopular stance. This type of question is essential in any good leadership interview. When giving examples like this in an interview, ensure your pitch and tone remain positive. We voice unpopular opinions because we genuinely believe it's what's best for the organization, and I want your answers to reflect that positive intent. All right, let's dive in. Let's imagine our interviewer, Sue, asks us the following question. Tell me about a time, Jeff, you voiced an unpopular opinion at work. What was the situation and how did you approach it? This is an example from my time working as a supply chain manager at Pinnacle Manufacturing, a mid-sized company specializing in producing industrial equipment. The company had been using the same supplier for a critical component for over 5 years, and while the relationship was strong, the lead times and cost of components had steadily been increasing. There was growing pressure to find ways to reduce costs and improve efficiency. The leadership team, however, was very resistant to changing suppliers due to the long-standing relationship and perceived risks. I was tasked with reviewing our supplier agreements and providing recommendations on how to improve our supply chain efficiency. The timeline was tight. I had just 6 weeks to complete the analysis and present my findings to the executive team. I started by conducting an in-depth analysis of our current suppliers' performance over the last 3 years specifically. I gathered data on lead times, defect rates, and cost fluctuations using our ERP system and supply chain analytics software. I also benchmarked this data against industry standards to identify any gaps. Based on the data, I drafted a preliminary plan to explore alternative suppliers who could meet our needs at a lower cost and with better lead times. I mapped out the criteria for potential new suppliers focusing on quality, reliability, and cost effectiveness. I also identified key risks associated with switching suppliers, such as potential delays in production and the impact on existing supplier relationships. Then I initiated those conversations with the key stakeholders, including the procurement team, production managers, and leadership. I presented my findings from my initial research and shared my concerns about the increasing cost and inefficiencies. Despite some initial pushback, I emphasized the long-term benefits of diversifying our supplier base and reducing dependency on a single supplier. Then I needed to test it. So I led a testing phase where we ordered some small batches of components from two alternative suppliers to assess their quality and lead times. I coordinated closely with our QA team to ensure the components met our standards, and we ran these components through a series of production trials to identify any potential issues. Then we executed. And during the execution phase, I closely monitored the feedback from the production trials and made necessary adjustments to our process workflows. I also facilitated regular meetings with the procurement team and alternative suppliers to manage risks and address any concerns. We use project management software to track progress and ensure alignment across teams. And so, after several successful trial runs, we officially launched a pilot program with one of the new suppliers, initially sourcing about 20% of our components from them. I worked with the logistics and procurement teams to streamline the transition and ensure minimal disruption to our production schedule. I presented the results of our pilot program to the executive team, highlighting the cost savings, improved lead times, and the seamless integration into our production process. I used data visualization tools to illustrate the positive impact on our overall supply chain performance. And finally, I documented the entire process, including the initial analysis, decision-making criteria, testing outcomes, and of course, the final results. I implemented continuous monitoring protocols to track supplier performance and ensure ongoing optimization. This documentation became a key resource for future supplier evaluations. And the results. By voicing my concerns and advocating for change, we successfully diversified our supplier base, reducing our dependency on a single supplier. This moved This move resulted in a 15% reduction in component costs and a 20% improvement in lead times. The overall impact was more resilient and cost effective for our supply chain, which significantly improved our bottom line. The approach we developed has become a repeatable process for future supplier evaluations, enhancing our ability to respond to market changes swiftly. And that's it. As always, it's a very robust answer. Remember, the key is to show that your stance was driven by a genuine desire to improve for your organization. You should demonstrate that you backed up your opinion with solid data, engaged in thoughtful discussions, and executed your plan with precision, all while embodying a positive and collaborative spirit. In your interviews, your ability to balance strong leadership with googliness, staying optimistic, open-minded, and team-oriented, is what will set you apart. As you prepare for your interviews, think about examples from your past where you did take a stand even when it wasn't easy, and how you handled it with confidence and grace. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope this breakdown helps you feel more prepared and confident for your googliness and leadership interview.